You know that saying, mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun? Well, that applies to me today, because I'm absolutely sweating. Normally I get up to the allotment in the morning and do everything by about 12 o'clock at the latest, but today I didn't get out of bed early, and so it's midday and it is absolutely roasting up here. You may be able to see me sweating, which is not very attractive. Anyhow, I'm up here to drink a lot of this and to water the plants out there. I'm also up here to plant out some Brussels sprouts, and we can do a quick plot review if you like, because I know you like those. Alright, let's unfortunately get out in that heat. Now, I was going to plant the Brussels sprouts in this bed, which is what I'm calling my brassica bed this year. Underneath the cloches there are the kale that you saw me plant a couple of videos ago. Underneath that monstrosity there are cabbages, certainly maybe a couple of collies, I can't remember. Now, I was going to, like I said, plant the Brussels sprouts there. However, change of plan. Come up here. The onion bed, along with the carrots and parsnips and the lettuce, there's that gap over in the far corner. That's where I'm going to plant the Brussels sprouts, because originally I was going to put my leeks there. However, as my onions seem to have a case of the allium leaf minor, or certainly don't look happy, I don't know what's wrong with them. If I put my leeks there, they may have been infected by the same bug or disease which is affecting the onions. So instead I'm going to plant my Brussels sprouts there, and the leeks will be down in the brassica bed that I've just shown you. So here are the 2 packs of Brussels sprouts that I've bought. They are, it says, the Icarus type. For regular subscribers to my channel, you may remember that last year I had a complete nightmare with Brussels sprouts. I bought a variety called Evesham Special, which were totally pants. Even the label described them as a bad variety and almost hinted at not buying them. But I didn't read the label, obviously. I just bought them because they said Brussels sprouts. Fortunately, this time round I did read the label, and hopefully these will perform better this year. Right, let's get out and plant them. Now all I'm doing is squeezing the plug plants out of the packet and dropping them into the hole that I've done. Well, there you have it. 3 rows of 4 Brussels sprout plants, the Icarus type. Obviously the ground looks parched and they'll definitely need a drink. I'm also going to have to try and construct some Heath Robinson cover or cage for it, because as soon as I leave here later on today, if I don't cover these up, the pigeons will be straight into them, and that will annoy me.com. Anyhow, there you go. The Brussels sprouts are in. It looks like the French climbing beans are starting to take now. starting to slowly make their way up the sticks over there, and yeah, these won't be far behind. Let's move over to the peas, as I like to call them, Beecher's Brook, because that is quite an impressive hurdle there. And then let's wander over to the broad beans. The black fly don't seem to be here. Maybe one or two, but nothing like they were in the last video. So I'm pretty pleased. Looks like I'll get some decent broad beans this year. Speaking of which, they're not far away. See? They're making an appearance now. The Atlantic giant pumpkin still looks very poorly, despite me giving it a feed about 2 days ago when I came up here. I've invested in some Epsom salts. I'm going to give them an Epsom salt feed in a minute and give them a big drink. And hopefully that'll perk this poor lad up, because the way it's looking, I don't think it's going to be here for much longer unless the Epsom salts do the trick, because the soluble plant feed certainly hasn't done the trick so far. Fingers crossed. Now I've brought you up to the top of the plot, so I want to show you, I think I showed you guys last year, that mixed in with this rose bush is grapes, a grapevine. Let me show you. Those are potential grapes, people. Now I did discover it. There you go, there's some more. Can you make that out? I did discover this last year, but not until the grapes were quite prominent. Now it looks like this year we've got even more. Now officially it's the neighbour's grapevine, but as it's kind of come over my property and I've had a chat with him, and he said it's okay for me to try and cultivate this now, because when he originally bought it it was sold to him as a gooseberry bush. How bizarre is that? And as it's made its way over to this side of the plot, and he doesn't really know how to grow grapes, but neither do I, he said, you know, if I can get them growing, that's fine. So this might be a little project for me in the autumn to train this grapevine this way. So there's my gate. I'll obviously have to clean everything up, but I may have to try and construct some kind of frame going over or coming across here to the shed there. So I don't know. I definitely want to try and keep these grapes alive, and maybe in a couple of years time get some grapes from them. So yeah, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So it's a project for me in the autumn, possibly winter time, because this year I'm just going to let them scramble around over this bush. I'll have to try and cut the bush back and be careful not to cut the vines, the grapevines. Like I said, construct some kind of framework which goes over the gate, maybe 6 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot high, 6 foot high, and come along to the shed here. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys the grapes. And finally we get to this monstrosity, the perpetual spinach, which I planted last year, came up, and I just let it run and it's gone to seed, but now it's causing a problem for this last row of potatoes. They're not getting enough light, and they are just turning out to be a thug of a plant. So I'm going to dig these up and obviously think about what I can plant in place of them, but they definitely need to come up. Anyhow, let's get watering the plot. That's it from me today. Thank you for tuning in. If you have, it's a scorcher on the plot today, so the weather, to be honest, has done me in. It's time to go home. I'm going to stop off at the shop, grab myself an ice cream, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye bye.